Welcome to this week's Rubber Run Sports Show.
Shot on location at Langley High School.
Emily Shively,
Maria Mufti,
Rana Azad,
Laura Maloney,
Holly Jepson,
Rachel Doobie,
Carly Britt,
Sarah Van Houten,
Ellie Buckley,
Jordan Callahan,
Elizabeth Busey,
Olivia Augustini, 2017 conference champion.
Thanks for the intro, ladies. I'm John Moore, Rob G and Papa. Another fantastic week. See, playoff basketball, maybe better than playoff football to me.
It's awesome. Well, it's you get in the gym and it's packed and it's crazy.
The atmospheres are insane.
No, there's nothing wrong with it at all.
Not bad gym here.
It's beautiful.
Better than the rest of the school looks right now.
a little bit. Well, they knew where their bread was buttered, so they got the gym done
That's
first.
right. Rob, you got started off early in the week.
Went out and caught at Woodson. You know, cavalry's great.
Yeah.
Went out to see the South County team take on Woodson. Defensive struggle is
That was a football score.
at least you could say that. You could say that I definitely saw the Woodson football team put up more points than that during the year. It was 6-5 in the first quarter. South County had a ton of trouble scoring. They were without one of their players, Nalia Wilson, who's really good, but she's about 6'4", I think. They were without her. I didn't expect them to have that much trouble scoring. It was trouble from the start. One thing I will say about South County, freshman Gabby San Diego is really good.
Yeah,
she's gonna be really good. Woodson pretty much from the second quarter on had control of that game. Logan Doherty is a smart, steady. She gets to the right spot. She makes good passes. She does a lot for that team. But freshman Abby Pazanski, she pretty much dominated that game. I mean, like I said, 33-15. She's good as a freshman. When she really learns how to play, watch out. She's going to be tough. Like come her sophomore, junior, senior year, she's going to be tough. Woodson's really young, so it's going to be interesting to see them over the next couple of years. So I knocked the refs last week, right?
Yeah.
Can't say enough about them this week. They actually it was awesome. That game was like an hour over. I don't know. There was probably 5 fouls called in that game. It was kudos to the refs in that game.
Never thought I'd hear you say that.
Yeah, well, I'm not taking it back what I said last week. The 90 free throws in the game is ridiculous. But I also got over to see Centerville play Oakton. CC Conklin for Centerville, she really kept them in the game early on. I mean, she was hitting threes. She was doing a lot for Centerville. But Allie Gambone, their point guard, she's a sophomore. She had a great drive to the basket that was ridiculous. She's only a sophomore. Bold prediction here, I think she's going to have a triple-double next year. She's going to have a triple-double at some point. She does a lot of things well. Like, she's not going to blow you away constantly,
right.
But she does a lot of things well. She's going to have a triple-double at some point. Oakton looks different than they did earlier in the year. Not doing the same things offensively. I'm not sure what's going on there. Not even going to question Coach Priester. You know how I feel about him. He's tremendous. But there's just something's not clicking right there the way it was early in the year.
Not a good time for that to start happening.
No. Delaney Conley was Delaney Conley in that game. But a player to watch out for Oakton moving forward, they have a freshman they brought up, Megan Kennefick, who she's going to be really good.
Yeah.
She's going to be really good. But Oakton goes on to win that game. I mean, it was 39-32. It was pretty close throughout, but Oakton went on to win that game. Not so much last night. They played Herndon
again
in the conference title game.
Herndon's good.
Indy Sanders, she's on a tear.
You know who else is good? Jalen Batts.
I told you, man.
I know.
I told you.
Shout out to the Batts family. Met mom, dad, grandma, everybody. Jalen and mom almost got lost, or almost got left by dad who was hungry. They were taking selfies, and he said, the train's leaving.
You know what? Better not leave.
I almost went with him.
Better not
Big
leave her.
dude. Looked like we eat together.
Did you ask her if she could grab her?
I didn't, but I believe it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
She can get up.
She's tall. She's sophomore.
Yeah, she's going to be tough.
So they played Liberty in their Conference 22 championship game. Good game. Low scoring. Nobody scored more than 40. But it was a great game. More air balls than I've seen in the game in a while.
Really?
Yeah, surprise.
From the Liberty side?
Mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was spread out. The game was close. It was great defense. Coach Teddy Whitney, who we've known for a long time, he said he was really proud of the defense after the game. Both teams played really good defense. Freedom went on to win 39-35. Bats had 16 points, 5 boards. She fills up the stat sheets.
She does, man.
Let me tell you about Sydney Kim.
Hey, I like
Sydney Kim, the senior point guard, who, now, you know how I feel about the 4 corners at the end of a game that run out the clock.
Yeah, we found out about that last week.
It's easily the worst thing in basketball I've ever seen. I don't care. It should be all about the win, right? But you got to entertain me while you're doing it. That makes no sense. But I hate it. But I will say this. Sydney Kim made, it wasn't even 4 corners. It was her dribbling out of the 5-second block. I mean, she had the ball at one point for probably about 2.5 minutes towards the end of the game.
Really?
And she was just putting the defender on her heels, backing it up. The crowd was in it. They were oohing every time she threw a crossover in there. So she really sealed the deal towards the end of the game. So
Packed in there?
packed
Yeah.
for the girls and guys game. So 39-35, Freedom Girls win Conference 22 championship. So the boys played Champ, crosstown rival,
Big rival.
packed as you would expect.
Yeah.
Not going to spend too much time on Dom Fragala, who did drop 35 points. I think he's about 50 points away from Allen Iverson's state record for points scored in the season.
That's a game and a quarter for him.
I know, so they need to win their next game.
Yeah.
Because it's all about my entertainment.
Right.
Team second.
Of course.
No, but this game was great. I mean, it was close most of the way through. Zion Collins from Freedom, that kid can play.
He's only a junior?
I think so.
He's ridiculous, yeah.
He had a great all-around game, 16 points, 6 assists, 7 rebounds. There's a kid, shout out to Hunter Oakford's mom, who made a point to introduce herself after the game. Because she's following us on Twitter during the game. I was like, shit. She's like, I saw you tweeted my son's dunk. I'm like, wait, weren't you watching the game?
Right.
She's all over the place. It's great. But yeah, he had 11 points, 8 boards. He got on the boards heavy and kind of showed the lack of size that Champ has this year.
Yeah.
So when Champ went cold, that's when they really got in trouble. So obviously they're a big jump shooting team.
There's somebody you got to talk about from Freedom, though.
There's a lot of people I could talk about for Freedom, but Cleo Green.
There you go.
First of all, the name Cleo Green.
It's awesome.
It's fantastic.
Awesome. Yeah, it's awesome.
It's fantastic. I mean, I haven't heard of a Cleo since the lady on the 800 numbers back in the 80s.
Miss Cleo. Yeah, I forgot all about her.
It is great.
Yeah. Oh,
But these student sections, I mean, they're killing each other out there.
Yeah, they take no
This is very well thought out banter going on.
Yeah.
I mean, they're cross town. I think some of these kids probably know each other outside of,
of course.
so, and they're really taking some personal shots, but all in good fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, they pulled away at the end of the game, 74-61. Cleo Green had a couple big threes. Yeah, they were having trouble with that Champ zone at the beginning of the game, but once they started knocking down some shots, they pulled out the end.
Cleo Green can shoot.
He can shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can shoot. But yeah, congratulations. They dominated Conference 22, so best of luck to both of them.
Yeah, shout out to Coach Collins.
Shout out.
Collins' dad.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Coach Clutch.
Like that. Coach Clutch is
Coach
hilarious.
Clutch. That's a good name.
I like that.
All right. We're here at Langley.
Yep.
Got a chance to see South Lakes at Langley. I know, obviously you're the mayor of Reston at this point with South Lakes.
I should be. I need to be the mayor of Great Falls. I need better digs out here.
That's true. That's true. But no, I go out to South Lakes, watch South Lakes play Langley. This game starts off, before the game even starts, you can see Langley is fired up. They're cheering everything they're doing in the pregame. They're clapping. They're loud. The South Lakes team is just staring at them during warm-ups, and I was like, man, this doesn't look good. Because you know when you see an energy disparity like that, it doesn't bode well.
It says a lot.
It does, and they proved to be right.
Yeah.
From the opening tip, Langley just had way more energy. I'm not just saying this because she's sitting there staring at us right now, but Coach Baker, her team executes so well, and they do. They play with energy. They play together. They play with a passion and a fire, and they just execute so well. Rachel Dooney was unstoppable at the beginning of that game. She was fired up. She had attitude. She was going to the basket. She was pulling up. She was unstoppable at the beginning of that game, and you could see it deflated South Lakes early. One thing I'll say about South Lakes, I'm not questioning anything, but there were stretches of that game where junior Maddie Young wasn't in there, and I'm not really sure why. Like she's one of the better offensive players for them.
Yeah.
And with the trouble they were having scoring, I'm not sure why she wasn't in there. But like at one point in the fourth quarter, they subbed her in with 5:20 to go, and then subbed her back out with like 4:40 to go. And I don't know, she wasn't in there. But Langley was precise. They were executing, and I don't want to embarrass her, but they're probably the most well-coached team that I've seen this year.
You can smile.
Yeah, please. Let me talk about Jordan Callahan. She has a great start and stop to her dribble, and it keeps defenders off balance. She also forces a lot of people into fouls because she'll start and stop, and then they just run into her.
Yeah.
It's quick, and they don't know when it's coming. It's like when you watch a quarterback in the pocket and they're kind of moving just a little bit, right to left just to avoid the rush. That's kind of what it's like when she's dribbling, and it just keeps people completely off balance. But Langley out-hustled every rebound. They got to every loose ball. They completely out-hustled South Lakes all over the court. It was 44-23 at the end. Jordan finished with 12. She's terrific. No, she likes to get off the set quick, but she also likes to handle the ball quickly too, which is really good. She was terrific in the game.
She can run track quick out the gate.
Yeah, if you would have got her 40 time when she got off the set, she would have beat a lot of people. She should be out there running with the track guys right now. But yeah, 44-23, Langley, they rolled in that game. Wasn't even as close as the score was, and obviously we know from the intro, they went out and handled business, won their conference title.
Yeah.
You got the plaque there to prove it?
I do.
What did you say, they had it made up before the season started?
I think so. This thing doesn't look like it's brand new. I think this is...
No. But
Miss Cleo must have gave them some information.
There you go.
That's what it was.
Well, we're out here at Langley. We had a chance to sit down with Coach Baker and with Jordan Callahan. Take a look. All right, Jordan, fresh off of the conference title game, take us through that game last night a little bit.
Going into the game, we were confident with our game plan and what we had to do. We knew that we beat them twice in the season, but beating a team 3 times is harder, but we were confident in our game plan. And throughout the game, we just had trust in everyone, 1 through 13, and we knew that we would pull it out in the end.
So this was obviously a goal of yours at the beginning of the season. What's that feeling like, going through the whole season's ups and downs and accomplishing that goal, getting cut down the nets?
It's a great feeling because, as Coach Baker always says, you work so hard, but one misstep and then you just fall right down the ladder. And so working through all the ups and downs, it's just such a great feeling at the end, knowing all that you worked through, all the 8 a.m. practices, all the running is just a great feeling.
8 a.m. practices?
Would not be good for you.
Good thing I didn't go to Langley. Well, it's on the Fairfax High School schedule. Obviously, they're not producing as well.
Not so much. Well, last year you all obviously had a great season. And there was, you had great, Paige Galliani was there, you had some senior leadership. What's different about your role this year on this team?
I think I'm more of a vocal leader this year. Last year, I took kind of a step back and let Paige run the show and all, and be that vocal person on the court and off the court. And this year, I'm taking more of a leadership role off the court.
Okay.
Who are some of your basketball influences?
I don't know. I've always grown up watching both my brothers play. I'd go to all their games, all their practices, and I just would try to emulate their game.
Very cool.
Well, what is the best part of your game? What do you think is the best part of your game?
I think attacking the paint and finishing around the basket, and then once I get in the paint, knowing to finish it or pass it out to my teammates.
Okay.
So how do you gear back down from this high and get ready for the rest of the playoffs?
I think we enjoyed the game last night and celebrated with the team, but today, first morning practice, we understood that that was last night and we have to look forward to the next game.
So you played for Coach Baker during the high school season. You've played for Coach Priester during the AAU season. Do you feel like a little bit spoiled because you've had such great coaching in your high school career?
I do. They've both taught me so much, and it's just great learning all that they've been able to teach me, and I just take it all in. And if Coach Baker teaches me one thing, Coach Priester teaches me another thing. I just have so many tools, and as Coach Priester always says, in my tool basket.
Yeah. What about those assistant coaches?
Oh, they're great too.
They're holding up cue cards in the back telling you what to say. What do you think is the biggest difference between the high school season and the AAU season for you?
I think in the high school season you have so much time to prepare, and you know who you're playing in, what your personnel is, and you know how to guard who you're guarding. In AAU you just go out there and play, and you learn as the game goes on what your man can do.
Okay.
How about that Saxon's student section?
We have a few that come, dedicated fans, but it needs a little bit of work.
Thank you.
All right.
Saxon student section, so are on notice.
You all have had, like we talked about, you've had great success. Is it annoying for you that the guys still get more fan support than the girls team does?
It really is, because in morning announcements, it's guys finished fourth in their district, and we're the champions, and it's we get no recognition.
Because it annoys us too.
It does.
We talk about it on the show a lot, but now they've been put on notice, they'll come out.
They better.
Or else we'll keep talking about them.
Yeah, well, poorly. Absolutely. Even though they were great one time when I saw them, we'll trash them anyway.
Yeah.
So tell me, what's it like playing for Coach Baker? Please don't be influenced by the fact that she's here.
It's great, and I think because she was also a point guard, she's taught me everything that she learned as she went through her playing career, and I've taken what she's learned and put it into my own game.
Does she still have game?
She does, but before this year, but she used to play with us 5-on-5 sometimes in open gyms.
Could you beat her?
No, she would just take the ball from me sometimes.
All right. Well, we look forward to seeing you moving forward in regionals. Best of luck to you coming up. Wasn't that bad right here, right?
It wasn't.
All right, good.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
All right, Coach Baker, let's go back a little bit. You played at Forest Park. You won a state title there. How much of your playing career do you draw into your coaching career?
At Forest Park, defense was a huge emphasis. Chrissy Kelly was very big on teaching the fundamentals of that, and I think getting that foundation at such a young age, and then being able to apply it there and in college, and having that experience with it allowed me to coach it a little bit better. So I think when I came to Langley, I at least knew, offensive schemes would come with personnel, but defense had a pretty good sense of what I wanted to do, and had the players that were able to execute. So I think, defense from high school was a big thing I took away.
At what point did you realize that you wanted to be a coach?
Right as my collegiate playing career was coming to an end, I was I can't not be around basketball. And obviously I wasn't going pro. So high school coaching made a lot of sense. And Chrissy had just gotten a head coaching job at South County, and I kept in good contact with her and asked if I could help out. And that's kind of how I got my foot in the door.
Okay. Well, who are your other coaching influences? Who do you kind of take from or talk to?
In the area, there are a lot of great coaches that just kind of casually talk to, change notes with. My assistants, would be the biggest influence. I see them every day, and they both have, post influence, guard influence. They've been around, played, so they're probably the people I lean on the most. I try to keep good relationships with everybody in the area. There's so much to learn from boys and girls side of coaching.
Okay.
So take us kind of through the beginning of when you got the job here, what your expectations were, and how it really was.
Well, at first it was hard. Losing's hard. And the process, and people always say trust the process, work through it, but living through it day to day can be very difficult sometimes. But the type of player, student, athlete you work with at Langley is very rewarding. They work extremely hard. They're very driven, very focused. So it's just a matter of time before things started to fall into place. And you get a player like Paige, a player like Jordan, and the compliments that have come around her. Like, we have incredible role players and kids that can do a lot of different things. It just took some time. So if you can get over that initial painful losing process, the winning will come and the players will buy in.
Well, you talked about defense, but it had been a long time since Langley had won a conference title before you got here. What other things did you bring? What kind of philosophies or other things did you bring to Langley to kind of get it turned around?
Well, we take preparation very seriously here. We have true student athletes that study their positions, they know their roles, they buy into and commit to the little things that make us successful. And they're dedicated to film. They do their own scouting reports. So I think that preparation really helps. And we use every ounce of skill and ability we have, whether it's mental, physical. They really maximize their abilities.
You could say that.
It's okay.
Watching them play, you could tell they're incredibly prepared.
So walk us through this season. What were your kind of goals that you set at the beginning of the season? Obviously, you've reached the apex of where you could be at this point in the season. So kind of take us through the regular season and through the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, before the season even started, there were just a lot of unknowns. We had graduated a huge class. We knew we were bringing back a lot of talent, but you just don't know who's going to fill in some of those gaps. And talked to the players about it, and they really took it to heart, and they wanted to figure out how they can help contribute and fill in, like, who's going to be a scorer this year, who's our defensive stopper. And as we worked through those roles, things just kind of came together. And they have great chemistry, that certainly helps. They support each other a lot, and you could tell as things started to come together, the winning would come with it.
Well, being prepared is one thing, but when you watch your team, they execute incredibly well. How that you don't always see that with a team. The game plan might be there, but the execution isn't. How are they able to execute as well as they are?
I think there's a lot of trust, player-coach trust. One, like, we trust they are working their hardest every day. They're preparing in the off season, and then on the flip side, they trust that we're giving them good information. Yeah. We did our homework. We're not just making this stuff up. So that mutual trust, I think, is what makes us successful.
Dished out a lot. I would have taken all the credit there. Like, I'm a great coach. That's why.
Okay, but you know what? The assistants were back there putting up cue cards again. That's awesome. What do you want to focus on going? What do you want the team to focus on going into regionals?
One step at a time. Just making sure that we're prepared for each opponent, or one possession at a time, one quarter at a time, putting a body of work together to get a win and then move on to the next round.
Okay. So you graduated a huge class. You talked about trust. Talk about you have 3 team captains. Talk about how some of them have stepped into leadership roles this year.
They're fantastic. We have 3 team captains, but everybody's pretty vocal on this team. They all bring something to the table.
I heard them. They were like,
they have great energy. Our bench is phenomenal. It's very genuine. They really support each other. They want each other to do well, and especially some of the younger players, they know their time's coming. So they're trying to learn as much as they can, just like last year's juniors who are seniors now. Like, they learned as much as they could, and then it was their time to step up. And so having that continuous cycle and always have veteran players ready, it's been nice.
Having Jordan doesn't hurt.
Certainly not.
Does not hurt. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate being here today.
Yeah, I hope you come back on.
Yeah.
That was fun.
We got another net to talk about.
That would be great.
That's right. Well, no, we can't wait to see what you do in regionals and moving beyond. So,
best of luck.
Thank you.
Coach
Appreciate
Baker.
Langley student section.
You need to come out.
Support your girls.
Absolutely.
They're winning.
Yeah. They do that a lot lately. Mm-hmm. You need to be there. Yeah. I also got a chance to see Madison play Mclean. I hadn't seen Mclean this year. I was a little interested in seeing them. Game starts off, and Madison took control earlier. They were up 11-3 in the first quarter. Katie Sharon, she was on fire early, and she's got a quick trigger, and it's itchy. You know what I'm saying? Like, she gets her hands on the ball, she's ready to put it up.
Yeah.
She had, I think, their first 7 points in the game, but Madison looks like they were going to cruise easily. They were still up 21-13 at the half. Morgan Gibson, their point guard, was pretty much in control in the beginning of that game, and she put a lot of people in bad situations. she put the defense in a lot of bad situations. Sarah Conforti, Nick Conforti, the receiver
Yes.
there? Yeah. His sister Sarah, she was getting blocks early. I mean, she was running
Getting
things. But Mclean starts to come back. And they scored 21 in the third behind Hannah Smith and Vanessa Barlow. Vanessa Barlow's, she's small, but she can go. I mean, she can go. They hit a couple of big threes that put them back in the game. The second half of that game was great. I mean, there was 60 points scored in that second half between the two teams. It was back and forth. They just big shot after big shot. It was a really good game. Some huge free throws for Madison down the stretch. They go on to win 47-46. I mean, it was a really good game to watch. Vanessa Barlow finished with 13 for Mclean. Hannah Smith finished with 11, and Katie Sharon, quick trigger, she had 18 in the game.
Nice.
I'm telling you, she's ready to shoot at all times. I'm a fan of that.
Oh yeah. Before I get to what was game of the week, shout out to Trinity
Palacio?
Palacio.
Yeah, TC Williams.
TC Williams won their conference championship.
She's slightly good.
Yeah. Conference Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Congratulations. She's a sophomore?
Sophomore.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Short. Plays big.
Plays big, that's for sure.
So at South County High School, West Potomac versus W.T. Woodson.
Now you're in my neck of the woods.
I
Man.
know.
I love South County.
Athletic Director Leah. Sorry, she seems so disappointed I was at the game and not you.
I guess I tell you, I wear that. I love that South County hat, man. I wear that South County hat all the time.
Very hospitable there.
South County's great.
Everything.
Yeah, they're great.
So this game lived up to the hype. First of all, the cavalry is ridiculous at Woodson.
Yeah.
I think their whole school was there. Not to be outdone, and maybe beating them out in noise.
The Den?
The Den.
Yeah.
I had no idea. That West Potomac student section is crazy.
Hey.
Crazier than their student section is the family section.
Hyped up?
Insane. I'll get back to them later because I think they might have played a role in this game. Game starts off, Woodson's got shooters. They always have shooters.
Yeah.
So it was almost like the athleticism of West Potomac, the shooters at Woodson is how the game started off. It was 18-15 after the first quarter. Woodson was up. Second quarter was even, back and forth, but the game always was a 3-point lead or a 7-point lead for Woodson. And it seemed like West Potomac would get close and then, somebody would hit Egner would hit a big three. That kid's got range.
Yeah, he does.
He pulled up from 30 feet at one point.
Yeah.
And I was checking for shot clock and realized there's no shot clock in high school basketball.
No, he just likes that shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was 31-28 at halftime. But you still got the feeling that, okay, the referees in this basketball game, I'm pretty sure Woodson scored 20 points on free throws in the first half of their 31.
Don't try. I'm not saying anything bad about referees.
This is where I'm going to get back to the family section.
Good.
Now, there may have been some threats being thrown at the referees. And I can tell you this, there was some serious whistle swallowing in the second half, which made for a much better basketball game.
Good job, West Potomac fans.
Good job, West Potomac. Got a little nervous there at some point, some things that were being said. At the end of the third, the same thing. 51-46.
Got a little nervous about some things that were said.
It was 51-46 at the end of the third. Woodson's still winning, but never really in control of the game, right? And then we talked about the athleticism. Okay, Coach David Houston, who just won Coach of the Year, Patriot Conference.
Yeah.
This guy, outside of being in every camera shot that I had, he never sits down. And I swear, I hope he doesn't get in any trouble from the referees for the next game, but I'm pretty sure he coached the whole game 3 feet onto the floor.
They were at a 6-man advantage? Is that what you're saying?
They were. I think he was part of the zone trapping that turned the game in the fourth quarter.
He had that Mike Tomlin stance?
They have. But, I mean, they never run out of gas.
Yeah.
Like, those kids are, like, relentless when they start applying pressure.
That team is awesome.
Let me point out two people. Khalil Williams Diggins.
great athlete.
He is ridiculous.
He's a great athlete.
Ridiculously good. He had 22 points. And then Daryl Mackey, who you talked about, Daryl Mackey Jr., I apologize.
Apologize to Daryl Mackey Sr.
Yeah, that's right. He had 22 points also. Daryl Mackey Sr., he done good. Yeah.
Man,
He's a junior, right?
he's a sophomore.
Sophomore.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No, Daryl Mackey is going to be ridiculous by the end of his career.
So right at the end of the game, right when West Potomac had finally taken the lead, they finally broke through taking the lead. He had a big steal and dunk. Place went crazy. That pretty much sewed the game up. They won the game 71-62. But again, the atmosphere. Now, okay. Post game, right? They do these trophy celebrations. This is great. Both teams, second place runner-up. Will they get like a badge or a patch or something like that? I turned around, and the entire W.T. Woodson side of the gym, I've never seen an exodus of people that fast.
Really?
Gone. Everyone.
They weren't there for the patch.
I know. I like that, though.
They weren't
That's
there
good.
for the patch.
But yeah, 71-62. Congratulations, West Potomac. It was a great game. The atmosphere was ridiculous. That's the loudest gym I've been into this year.
Khalil Williams-Diggins?
Yeah.
He's a great receiver, too.
Is that right?
He's a great receiver.
Huh.
Yeah, that dude, he's a tremendous athlete. That guy is incredibly talented.
We'll be looking forward to next week. Regionals.
Yeah.
It's going to be nuts. You can see us on rubberrunsports.com all the time.
Yeah.
Comcast, Channel 28 in Reston, Channel 2 in Prince William. We're all over the place now. Herndon, Verizon, Channel 23.
Yep.
Cox, Channel 28 in Herndon.
Boom.
Langley High School.
Langley High School.
Yeah.
If we steal this table, we're going to be in a lot of trouble, but I want the chair first.
I said borrow.
Oh, well, I shouldn't have said steal then.
Yeah, borrow the table.
Bad idea by me.
Thanks for the hospitality.
Absolutely.
And we will see you all next week. Rob G and Papa, I'm John Moore. Shout out John Becerra. Good.